Hello everyone, my name is David Grizzy and this is my presentation on Swaziland. Some cultural history on the country for you. Its history goes back a very long way. There have been artifacts up to 200,000 years old that have been found within the country's land. However, officially speaking, the first known population of Swaziland consisted of Khoisan hunter-gatherers, and these people were eventually shifted out by the Bantu tribes in the 15th and 16th centuries. And said Bantu tribes, it is believed at least, gave birth to the descendants that resulted in Swaziland's modern-day population that still exists today. The country is currently occupied, or at least most of it, by the Dlamini clan of the Nguyen Kingdom. It was formerly a colony of Britain until it was granted independence in 1968. It is ruled by an absolute monarchy government, as it has been since its first re-election in 1972. With the king and the prime minister being the two head figures. And now some info about its current culture. Swaziland is known to have one of the most distinct and long-lasting cultures in all of Africa, and that is despite the fact that it is one of the tiniest countries within the continent. However, the culture of Swaziland specifically does have some controversial aspects within family life. Families tend to be patriarchal in structure. Sons are usually held to higher prestige than daughters are. Only males have the ability to inherit. The will is almost always not determined until the father of a family dies. As you can see, the controversy will be brought on by potential sexist beliefs within the culture. Children begin interaction with their peers at the age of 3. And an interesting fact, infants are not officially considered people until they reach 3 months of age. Any infants younger than that are considered objects. Boys and girls were typically separated to prepare boys for adulthood. Boys would undergo more strict training that would consist of interaction with older peers and caring for livestock. The girls did have a bit more freedom during childhood than boys, however they too did work, mainly consisting of house chores. Now for a bit of their traditions and values. Christianity is the most dominant and prevalent religion there. However, with most religions, there are no ordained ministers of said religions within Swaziland specifically. Most of the duties that would be equivalent to the duties of a minister are executed by adult males within the society. Some of the national holidays include the King's birthday on April 19th, Flag Day on April 25th, and Independence Day on September 6th. And now for a bit about their education system. All children receive primary education, however many drop out before they turn 13 years old. One of the most dominant subjects and considered of high importance within Swaziland is agriculture. Higher education is also available and is offered by various institutions around the nation. Preschool is used for children 5 years or younger. Primary education begins for a child when they are 7 years old. And there is a distinction with preschools in Swaziland. Those, as well as many other early childhood care centers, are usually referred to as neighborhood care points, or NCPs for short. Primary education starts at first grade and ends at grade 7. Secondary education is a 5-year program, similar to the 4-year one used in the United States. It consists of 3 years being a junior and then 2 years as a senior. So as you can see, the age points and grade levels vary differently compared to what America has in place. And now for a bit about interactions within Swazi culture. A gesture for a greeting usually consists of a handshake done with specifically the right hand. A polite handshake also has the greeter touch their own right forearm with their left hand while conducting the handshake. In addition, greeting an elder may also entail one slightly bowing their head and shoulders. Children are usually not permitted to make eye contact when speaking with an elder, and instead are usually accustomed to bowing their head down. They will perform high fives with each other, similar to how American children would do so. However, they often call it a take five within Swazi culture. Timeliness is not of high value in Swazi society. People will often show up late to public events, and as a result, these events are almost always delayed past the posted start time. Many people will also be extremely polite, and as a result of being accustomed to doing such, they will not communicate their issue at hand. People within Swaziland usually will beat around the bush during conversation, and as mentioned above, will often miss the point they want to make. Another thing distinctive to Swaziland is that people of identical gender, i.e. like 2 males or 2 females, tend to remain physically close to one another when having a conversation. They will also sometimes hold hands when having said conversation. And now, using the previous points with the interaction section, I made this last section called Behavior in America to describe how theoretically a Swazi person would interact with people if they freshly arrived to America. If they were to come to America, they would not have that difficult of a time blending in. They would likely be polite, as mentioned above in the previous slide, and they would likely have a difficult time expressing concern due to their tendency to be polite. American people are far more used to expressing concern than Swazi people are, and as such, it may require adjustment. The behavior of people of the same gender staying close together and holding hands would likely be seen as controversial here in America. While such may be customary in Swaziland, in America holding hands, at least for adults, is usually only done by people of opposite genders. The lack of eye contact they would use in certain situations in Swaziland could possibly be seen as disrespectful here in America, especially if a child does such in a school setting. They would likely have to break that behavior even though it is customary in their native culture. That concludes my presentation. I would like to thank you all for watching. These are my references.